Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Studio Ghibli Month here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, I'm checking out a movie from 1986. That movie is Castle in the Sky. And like most of the other movies this month, I know nothing about this movie. I can tell you that Disney apparently really wants us to love this movie because when I threw the DVD into my laptop and when I hit play, instead of being treated to the start of the movie so I could pause it and have it queued up for this video, I got a video of Pixar founder John fucking Lasseter trying desperately to upsell this fucking movie, which, yeah, that didn't help much. I know nothing about the plot. I can tell you that the problem that I have mentioned across many of these videos, a problem that I've given a name to, the problem being Ghibli face, the fact the studio doesn't know how to make unique faces for every character, it is incredibly problematic with this movie because our two leads, who I actually had to look up and found out that they are not family, at least from what I read, as you can see. Let me see if I can get this screenshot in there. Behold, if it'll focus, they have the same fucking face. That, guys, is the problem I've had with this studio. I'm certainly hoping that that isn't a real problem that's going to impact this whole movie. I am certainly hoping for Castle in the Sky to be good, but I have no earthly clue. And because this is one of the films from Hayao Miyazaki, it basically, guys, is a matter of toss a coin. It's either going to be incredibly good, or it is going to be brought down by either a lack of plot or preaching too much. So I don't know which side of the coin this sucker is going to land on, and the only way I'm going to find out is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Castle in the Sky. Well, guys, good news is, unlike a whole lot of the other movies I've covered this month, at least this movie's not off to any kind of a slow, start. It actually is trying to tell the story in a timely fashion. My God, I'm actually surprised about a movie's pacing being decent. That just feels wrong to me, man. So let me see if I understand this. So even though in the opening credits we actually got to see our titular castle in the sky, we see it's being held up by tons and tons of light, freaking like propellers. Looked really awesome. Now we're being told it's being held up by this magical fucking stone that humans have lost the ability to mine. Alright. Okay, totally cool movie. So which one is it? Or are they powering their fucking propellers using this magical stone that humans have lost the ability to mine? Probably because, knowing how Hayao Miyazaki works, we've lost fucking contact with motherfucking nature and all this other shit. Please, movie, at some point, would you like to tell me this? Because I'm kind of curious. Hold on a minute. Now, if she knew this spell that could possibly save her this whole time, and if she's been, chased and kidnapped and captured and all this shit for so long, why the hell has she not used this spell until now? It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, guys. You would think that if you're in constant danger, you're constantly being chased, and you happen to know a spell which could very easily save you, you'd have fucking used it ages and ages ago. Just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me, guys. Alright, I kind of sort of feel like mentioning this, guys, because it's really starting to bother me. What the hell is up with Anna Paquin's accent in this movie? I swear to God, there are just some lines where she just slips into this, almost like English, Australian, New Zealand kind of accent. It kind of sort of flips between all three, and it only happens on certain words and certain lines, and it seems so weird and so out of place. And I know Anna Paquin is better than that, so makes me think it might have been like a stylistic choice for her to flip between a bunch of accents, but for fuck's sake, why? I'm sorry, guys, I just sort of felt like venting on that, just slightly. Well, guys, I can at least say this much. This scene of them just looking around our titular castle in the sky, it's fucking gorgeous. Even seriously, guys, with the mass robot graveyard that they just sort of stumbled into, it still looks fucking beautiful. So I can at least say that much, guys. As is the way with every other Ghibli film, their backgrounds and their settings are fucking gorgeous. But this is actually exceptionally gorgeous. So Laputa is essentially able to fire orbital nukes. Fucking hell, that is awesome, dude! That really is. That is fucking badass. Well, guys, that was Castle in the Sky. Let me shut that off. Okay. So, where to begin with this movie? Writing, I guess, is a good place to start. You see, because this is a movie from Hayao Miyazaki, I was dreading a few things. I was worried that the movie would just boil down to nothing but fucking idiotic preaching that absolutely sacrifices story. It really doesn't do that. After watching fucking Totoro, I was honestly petrified this thing wouldn't have any plot at all. It totally does. Honestly, guys, out of everything that Hayao Miyazaki's done, at least for Studio Ghibli, this is probably his most well-written film, which is kind of sad considering out of all of his Ghibli output, this is his earliest. So, apparently he started off strong and then quickly degenerated into preachiness and bullshit as film after film came out. But hey, you know what? At least here we have a very well-written story. Our pacing here is done very, very well. Our characters are actually interesting and likable. And that is, all of our characters are interesting and likable. Our heroes, our villains, everybody are all just fucking likable. And you are going to find yourself absolutely sucked into this. Part of that, though, I think has to do with the acting. And as has been the way with all of Disney's Ghibli re-releases, they have gone for a top-notch cast. Special mention goes to Mark Hamill, who plays the film's villain, Muska. However, though, that really isn't saying much because Mark Hamill has shown, lo these many years, that he can play villains, and he can play them incredibly well. So, honestly, to have him come in and play another villain, it really isn't anything special. But goddammit, it totally fucking works. And on the flip side of that, while I'm totally able to praise Mark Hamill for doing what Mark Hamill's done for about the last 20 years, then we have Anna Paquin. And Anna Paquin is a fantastic actress. I almost never have a negative thing to say about her. But for whatever reason, in this movie, she is trying to go for some kind of a fucking accent that probably wouldn't be so bad if the accent was always present when she spoke. But it isn't. You will have certain lines and this weird accent, which, I don't know if she was trying to sound English. I don't know if she was trying to sound like Australian. I don't know if she was trying to sound like she was from New Zealand. I don't know. But it was some kind of an accent, and she would, slip into it for about half a fucking sentence, and then she'd slip right back out of it. And by the time the movie is nearing its fucking end, the accent is completely gone. Anna Paquin basically just gave up on even trying to put this stupid accent on. Unfortunately, it makes all of the earlier scenes just stand out because suddenly she has suddenly she has this accent in the middle of a sentence or towards the end of a sentence, or she'll go 2 or 3 sentences with this weird fucked up accent, and then her very next sentence there's nothing there at all. And I don't know if that's the fault of Anna Paquin. I don't know if that's the fault of the, director trying to tell her to put on an accent and then just saying fuck it after a few minutes and not bothering to do retakes so we don't have her bouncing in and fucking out of this weirdo accent. I really don't know, but something happened there, and it kind of sort of fucked up her performance a little bit. enough so that I feel that it is worth mentioning. And beyond that, the rest of our cast turns in fantastic performances from start to finish, and that is everybody, including, and again, I was kind of surprised by this. One of our air pirates is voiced by Andy fucking Dick, and Andy Dick is someone who I've learned cannot act. Except apparently in this film. In this film, Andy Dick, holy shit, he actually put in some effort. So even though they couldn't get Anna Paquin to lock in on a fucking accent, they were able to get Andy Dick to act. That's mind-blowing. So I will say that they were able to get Andy Dick to act. I'm kind of sort of surprised. Anyway, our acting here is really solid. Art, well, I mentioned at the very start of this that our two main characters have the exact same face, minus the thickness of their eyebrows, and that is sort of a problem that, you know, is all over this film. And of course that's because it's a problem with Studio Ghibli themselves. They're just so lazy when it comes to character faces that, guys, early on when our pirates are actually trying to find Sheeta, and they are in this town, one of them winds up running into Boss. The character has no other name except Boss in this film. And both this one pirate and Boss have the exact same face, hair, and mustache. The only difference is that the pirate has a fucking beard, and that his hair is a slightly different shade of brown than Boss's was. It's the exact same face, exact same shape. The very fact that you see the both of them in profile, and you can see that even guys, like, the contours of the face are identical. That's fucking sad. And of course, that then leads to a huge fist fight in the fucking streets, and you see like 15 other people with the exact same face and the same fucking mustache. A couple of them also were granted a beard, I guess, in order to stand out a little bit. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm sick and tired of seeing this sort of lazy bullshit from this studio. I don't care if this was one of their earliest outings. The very fact that they were fucking lazing out on character faces this early in the studio's history was a bad fucking sign, and they never kicked the habit. So I do have to fault them there. However, while I fault them on not knowing how to draw completely unique faces, I can praise them on everything else. Our backgrounds, our cities, our vehicles, our planes, our like one fucking car that we see, the trains that we see, the tanks, everything, guys. Everything else in terms of setting and vehicles and locations is gorgeous. And again, that is because that is something which Studio Ghibli has worked into an art form. Even though they don't know how to do faces worth shit, they can totally do everything else fine. And they can do and they can make settings that are just breathtaking and beautiful. So guess what? As much, guys, as I would love to harp on them for, you know, being ultra lazy with how their characters look, I can still say everything else is fucking beautiful, so I guess it kind of sort of cancels out, because I honestly would rather have beautiful fucking settings than, you know, well, I mean, it at least is sort of a trade-off. I get samey fucking characters, or rather I get samey looking characters, but everything else is beautiful, so trade-off, I guess it kind of works. Our sound mix here is perfect. Our score is fucking gorgeous. Again, though, that honestly isn't a huge shock, because Studio Ghibli also normally goes all out with making sure that they get some awesome music in these fucking movies. Ultimately, guys, when all is said and done, am I able to recommend Castle in the Sky? Most certainly. This film has a fantastic story. I absolutely loved it from start to finish, guys. I was worried about preaching, and that is not here. I was worried about pacing. The pacing here is fine. I was worried about this thing actually having a story. It totally has a story. Guys, this movie is probably, and I know I've said this a few times this month already, this thing's taken over as my second favorite Studio Ghibli film once more because nothing on this planet is going to top Grave of the Fireflies when it comes to films made by this fucking studio. But Castle in the Sky has come closest to beating that thing. So yes, I can absolutely recommend it. This movie is fucking beautiful, breathtaking, and gorgeous, and if you haven't seen it, you totally need to. This movie is fucking beautiful. And I do have a little bit of trivia. You see, because shortly after making this, Hayao Miyazaki worked on a television show, and he took a lot of elements from this film and worked it into that show. That show was called Nadia and the Secret of Blue Water. I can also recommend this thing if you can find it, because this series is fantastic, and you can see a whole lot of the elements here polished and fleshed out and worked to almost total perfection when they were reused here. So not only can I recommend this, I can recommend this fucker a hell of a lot more. The difference is that you can probably find this thing at a reasonable price. Amazon's currently gouging people for this thing on Blu-ray. So yeah, guys, I can totally recommend Castle in the Sky. The movie is fantastic. I am going to totally put it on. I'm going to totally put it in my Blu-ray collection. I'm going to have to jump cut because I don't remember who sent in this movie. So just give me a moment, guys. Okay, I have found who sent in this movie. I normally have that like written down. Apparently, I forgot to before I started filming. Castle in the Sky came off the Amazon wishlist. The person who sent it in was a YouTuber by the name of OxBigley2010. Please, guys, swing on over to his channel. That is youtube.com/user/OxBigley2010. Check out everything that he has. Ox, I thank you. I was really curious about this thing. I honest to God was. And I finally had my chance to see it. It wound up being fucking awesome, and I wouldn't have found that out if you hadn't have sent it in, and dude, that is absolutely amazing. I thank you. You're fucking awesome, and I know you've sent in a few other movies, and I thank you for sending in all of those. You honestly are just an awesome, awesome guy, and you fucking rock. Once more, that is youtube.com/user/OxBigley2010. Now, I talked about this show. I talked about Nadia. I still haven't finished the series. I think I'm actually about halfway through. So I think I'm going to go watch a few more episodes of this because I was actually reminded after watching some of this. So yeah, I am going to continue watching Nadia, and I'm going to open up some space in my Blu-ray shelf for Castle in the Sky. And with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.